Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're in F1 2009 to resume our career in our Codemasters F1 Career Challenge. And we got a podium in the last race, so we had an excellent race last time out. And hopefully we get some good press. They were bagging on us in the first couple of races, so let's see if we're in the good books. Podium place for Peachy, a commanding drive for Daniel Peachy saw the Toro Rosso driver claim a podium finish in the 2009 Formula 1 Chinese Grand Prix. The team will surely be in a buoyant mood travelling to Sakhir for the next race. And that's right, we're off to Bahrain for the fourth race in our career. And I gotta say, I still hate this game. I still hate F1 2009, like the other ones, but this one is just being a challenge for me personally, just to get through it. I'm sure if anyone's played 2009, you can you'll understand what I'm talking about. But let's read our race preview. Peachy predicted for a Sakhir win. Seeing Daniel Peachy on good form this season has made the Toro Rosso driver most people's favourite for a win at this week's 2009 Formula 1 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. Lies, I don't know. I don't think I can win it. I did have some good form in the last race, but we seem to be good in practice, seem to be good in qualifying and in the race. The pace just isn't there for some reason. I feel like tyres are a big... I don't know what the mechanics are in this game about it, but yeah, I seem to struggle on tyres in the race. It's just, they're not... I'm slower than everyone else. But let's get in and do a lap of Bahrain in practice and have a look at the glorious graphics of F1 2009. Glorious physics. Look at the crowd, they're just like a fabric blanket over the grandstands. But yeah, here we are, practice. As we did with the last video, I'm just going to do a whole flying lap so we can have a good look at the track, what it looks like in this game, where the good braking points are. It's a good time to make mistakes and learn the track. So Bahrain has a big hairpin and then comes on to a nice flying left-hander. It's a good part of the track. It can be a little bit hectic there at the start of the race, but that's what you want to see. There's not really much scenic-wise. We're in the middle of the desert, and it's a track that drivers don't really like being in the sun too much when they don't have to. It's hot, and you're going super fast. That wind would just be, it'd be hot in the cockpit. Obviously, I'm not. I have a nice roof over my head and playing from the comfort of my lounge room. And yeah, we're going to smash the curves now. This is actually not a too bad lap, to be honest with you. We're getting out pretty well on track. I should note, I'm playing this with the classic controller adapter on the Wii, and the analog stick is a bit stuffed, we'll say. So I'm actually having to do this with the D-pad. And I don't know, it's really touchy. So every time you see the steering wheel, have a look at me. It literally goes like full left, full right each go. It's just, it's a balance to get the controls right. As we come around on the last corner, we're going to set a very competitive time of a 1:35.404 in practice on our first lap, which is pretty impressive for me, I feel. And yeah, it let us finish it again in the top 3 of the time. So like I said at the start of the video, we're always pretty competitive in practice and competitive in qualifying. So let's test that method and get into Q1, the first qualifying session for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's see how I go. Obviously 0% chance of rain. It doesn't rain too often in Bahrain.
Qualifying session 1. You need to place in the top 15 fastest.
We'll just listen to Jeff here. Nah, we won't. Alright, so let's get into the lap here. We set, let's say, not as good a lap as we should have in this qualifying one. We made a couple of mistakes, as you can see there, going very wide into T1. And yeah, let's just say it wasn't a lap I was very happy with. Pace just wasn't there from practice. I'm not quite sure why. I was just getting my braking points wrong, just struggling with the D-pad. Just struggling overall with F1 2009, to be honest. I just cannot wait to get onto the PC versions and go from there on my wheel. Just a lot more comfortable there. But we set a time of 1:38.920, which was not enough to make me feel comfortable about getting out of Q1. As you can see, we're in 12th there. Want to head around for my second lap of Q1. And yeah, that was a good nearly 3 seconds off the pace of my practice time. So definitely want to make some improvements here. As we come into T1, we got a Brawn going very slowly. 2 Brawns. And yeah, we did a much better lap this time. As I've been doing in the last couple of videos, we're just putting some highlights in of qualifying. I'm only just doing that to keep these videos under 20 minutes. I don't want them to go on, and I have even been thinking about doing like a montage video of just a couple of races in a row, just so we can hurry up and get through F1 2009. If that's something you want to see, let me know in the comments below. We just passed the finish line on our second Q1 lap and set a 1:37.5, but that's enough to definitely keep us in the safe zone for Q1, and we finished that session in 7th. Bordeaux, Kubica, Sudal, PK and Nakajima are the drivers eliminated. And again, for the 4th race in a row, out-qualifying our teammate pretty convincingly there. Q2. Yeah, another session I was driving fairly good in here. Car felt good. It always feels pretty good when there's no crazy F1 2009 AI gunning you off the track, so that's probably why I definitely feel a lot better in the practice and qualifying sessions as well. But no, we got our corners pretty on the spot here. We were deploying our curves at the right time. And yeah, we're up on pretty much all sectors here. And we're coming across the last corner now. And it'll be interesting to see what time we set in our first Q2 time. 1:35.655. Very, very quick for a Toro Rosso, and it's enough to let us in P1 in Q2. So, wow. Yeah, nothing to really say there. Let's get into Q3, the final session of qualifying. And I've got to say I had some issues in this session. I got out, went to do my first lap, and very much like Q1, wasn't as all together as I would have liked it to be. Definitely made a few mistakes, as you can see there. I don't know if it's too much to do with car setup, more just to do again with me struggling with the D-pad. But nevertheless, as you can see, we're struggling as we come around for this hairpin corner here. We definitely stuffed it up and nearly ruined the lap of the Brawn next to us there. I'm not quite sure who that was. But we ended up setting a time of 1:38.002, and unfortunately that was the quickest time I could set because I did have, when I was in the garage, I did have my daughter wake up and I ran away and come back and ran out of time. I definitely could have improved on the time, but let's be honest, it's going to be cool to try and see if we can fight through the pack a little bit. I'm not too sure if we can, but there's your top 10 guys. Button on pole position, Mark Webber in second position, Sebastian Vettel in third. And let's get into the 2009 Formula 1 Bahrain Grand Prix. It's race time. I'm pumped. It's an okay track. I know it alright. And we're going to try and not have any incidents. We're going to try and score points again. We're just on that edge at the moment. So if we can try and hold this 8th position, that would be awesome. As you can see, all the starting grid there. We've got some good names in front of us, and I think a couple of good names behind us. So it's going to be an interesting race. Let's get into it. 5 red lights. And away we go. Slow off the mark. We're just going to try and hold our line here. It looks like it's going to be a bit crazy up into the first corner. So it looks like we've got Fernando Alonso there. Wow, sweeping in front of us, and we get the warning. Oh, that was a bit rough there, I think. We're coming in there. We didn't get any damage, fortunately, but we did get a warning from the stewards. Now, Alonso was going a bit crazy there. He went to the right and then back to the left, and I really just didn't have anywhere to go. But let's get through this first lap because we got Nakajima right on us, putting pressure. Tyres are cold. We're just slow. Like, look at all the cars in front of us, just breaking away. Like I said earlier in the video, we just don't have pace in the first bit of the lap. The first lap, and we don't really have pace after we pit. It's definitely a tyres thing, and I just don't know if the AI suffer the same thing. I just don't feel like they do in this game. It just works against the player. I don't know, I could be wrong, someone tell me in the comments, but that's what it definitely feels like in this. There's just nothing I can do to keep pace with them in the first lap. But that said, when we start wearing in these tyres on the second lap, we will start making some pace. So really it's just defending well through these corners, trying to keep these cars behind us because we know our time will come. The pace does come to this car. I don't know if it's just a trait of the Toro Rosso or any of the other cars in the game. I'm sure if I was in a Brawn or a Red Bull, I would be flying. Let's come around for the end of our first lap. We're setting a time of a 1:42.8, and we have Fernando Alonso 4.4 seconds ahead of us and Nakajima right on our tail. So trying to avoid letting them in here because they would have all had the slipstream. But we keep it pretty tidy and get out of those first set of corners and trying to keep it real for the rest of the first sector here. We're going to start making some pace away from Nakajima. We're going to start breaking away now. The tyres look like they're starting to come good. We can see a mirage of cars up ahead. And we're going to catch them. So I'm really pushing hard this lap, trying to make the distance, trying to get these tyres to work. But obviously trying not to overshoot on braking zone still. It's just a trying to get it on the controller is just especially when the controller's not working hard. Ugh, struggle. But as you can see, as we start coming through to the third sector, we are definitely catching Alonso. And the gap behind us is pretty much gone for now. Oh, wow. And Alonso braking super early there. We touch him again and get another warning again. And unfortunately, we got damage that time. So, I'm not too sure if Alonso did. Oh, we pull into the pits just behind him. Make sure not to break into someone's ass this time we pull in. And that was just unfortunate. I don't know what Alonso was doing there. He broke super early. So, the AI was just a bit crazy. Again, Alonso is out for me. And we get in for the pit stops, we get into refuel. And yeah, these are pretty standard pit stop times. Basically, we sit around the 12-13 second mark. Pretty much every time. That will get quicker in F1 2010. But yeah, let's come out of the pits, try not to cross the pit line early this time. Come around to T1, and yeah, we've pulled out of the pits in front of Sudal and behind Alonso. So Alonso just, at least we know we're keeping pace with him. He's been with us pretty much the whole race, even though we've been butting into him. I feel not all my fault. But let's see where we come out when all these cars are in the pits, and we are back in P10. So we've lost the pace, and we've just had to give up a place to Kimi Räikkönen. Very close to an incident there. Lucky I did see him. And yeah, we've now got to try and warm up the tyres again for this lap, because we were just struggling with pace when we come out of the pits. And we're going to try and bridge that gap to Räikkönen. Rosberg's behind us now. But we're looking pretty good. We come around for the final lap, and it looks like There's a nice group of cars here, so if we can just try and catch this group ahead of us, we may be able to find ourselves in a point position. First guy to get past is Alonso, and then we start to catch Raikkonen. We've passed him. Time to catch Alonso now. Very, very narrowly avoiding another incident. Another one. I think that's 3 or 4 with Alonso. So this is a tight battle. He's not wanting to relinquish that 9th position. Yeah, definitely looks like points are out of the question today, which is a bit unfortunate. But look, we had a really good race last time. We come around for the last quarter though, and we pass Alonso. Man, that was narrow. That was some narrow finish there. But we come home in 9th position, pipped Fernando after all that drama for those 5 laps, and we finish in 9th place. Jenson Button and Rubens Barrichello both bronze. 1, 2. Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. Webber in 4th. Lewis Hamilton in 5th. Glock, Trulli, Massa, myself, Alonso. Yeah, round out the top 10. Then the rest of the finishers were Raikkonen, Rosberg, Nakajima, Sudal, Kubica, Kovalainen, Heidfeld, Bordeaux, Fischer, and PK. So, still outperformed my teammate. We dropped down, unfortunately, the 7th position in the driver's standings, but hey, I'm still pretty happy with that. And Toro Rosso still keep 5th position in the Constructors' Championships. That is it for this video, guys, of the F1 Career Challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a like or a subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time.